Hi everyone, and welcome to Autism&NeurodiversityCoaching's Neurodiverse Universe podcast. Myself, Ben Holmes from Autism and Neurodiversity Coaching. Today's guest is Mel Sims, who is a neurodiverse coach and entrepreneur. So welcome, Mel.
Thank you, Ben.
So we'll get straight into it because I don't usually do small talk. We'll get straight into it. So when were you actually, so obviously you got ADHD, when were you actually diagnosed as having ADHD?
March 21st. March 2021. It reared its head, probably like lots of people, after COVID. So all that sort of summer and back end of 2020, I didn't feel, I don't know what I felt. It was just weird. I'd been quite a workaholic all my life. And because my business in the hospitality business had to close due to COVID, I figured that I was just going to read books and have a really nice time. And the churning inside of me was just terrible. And I drank a lot. We'll get to that as well. Yep. And I read something in a newspaper and I just thought, my God, that's me. And so, yeah, we're now into year 2, 3 of having it.
And what did getting the diagnosis sort of mean to you?
It was like someone gave me a guidebook that said, this is the inside of Mel Sims's head, brain and mind. It was the best present I could have ever had. I don't know if people have real problems about being diagnosed and what could that mean for them, and it holds them back. It was the best thing I ever did. I just felt lost before, completely lost. And I luckily, I think, because we all know waiting lists for the diagnosis are long, I think I got in early, sort of at the beginning of COVID, and I went to the doctor and said, look, I found this company, Psychiatry UK. She didn't really know about the link. She said, you're going to have to pay for it because you're sort of a 48-year-old capable woman. And I said, why? Because I don't set cars alight or spit on grandparents. And she said, yes. So I got that sorted through Right to Choose. And it was easy. I know it's tough for people now, but it was pretty easy. And my first entry in my diary, because I've journaled the whole journey, was I just wept for about half a day because it all made sense, Ben.
Yeah. So sort of life-changing.
Totally life-changing. Total invitation to begin life 2.0 without masking.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I meet so many people who are in a similar position, late diagnosis or finding out, and it is life-changing. It just changes everything, and understanding your past and how you were in the past, how you masked and how people treat you wrongly, I guess, in so many situations that you wasn't aware of. And yeah, it is a massive thing.
It's interesting, Ben, isn't it, that sometimes you're in a situation and you feel a bit like you're a double pathway where you could go into the old masking because that's what you really know.
Yeah.
Or new 2-3 year way, which is like the new way, and you're not sure how people will react. But every time I think to myself, I'm just showing up for myself. That's all I can do, is be authentic and show up for myself. And we'll talk, I'm sure, throughout the podcast about, things that have had to fall away, that didn't serve me anymore, new things that are better for me, forgiveness, etc. But I really encourage anyone, just read about it. You don't even have to go for a diagnosis yet. Just read about it if you feel something's off.
Yeah, no, definitely. And how did your friends and family respond to you, well, either getting the diagnosis or telling them you are ADHD?
Non-believers appeared. We got a bit of ADHD, you know, what's the matter with you? You've run companies, you've done really well. Almost like it was a self-indulgent journey I was going on because I didn't have anything better to do, you know. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. And then there were friends who I'm afraid haven't come on the journey with me because they felt that if I got a better diary or wrote down everyone's birthday or set off a bit earlier, my life would be complete. It also made me go on that sort of journey of, I wonder which parent or grandparent I got this from then. And now that all falls in, I won't mention who it is, but that all falls into place. Why it was just constantly having this tennis match when I'd have a conversation with someone in my family and thinking, oh, which is the real one? There's a lot of masking in my family, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's been new friends, and the friends that I really, really enjoy spending time with are those who are totally open to neurodiversity, and people who create a feeling that's non-judgmental, kind. I mean, I think I thought everyone felt like me inside for years, and I just thought you just got to carry on and get friends and try and stick with it, etc., etc. And actually, I don't hang around with anyone negative anymore. Life's too short.
Yeah, exactly. It's a shame that obviously you had friends that didn't accept it, and couldn't, you know, wouldn't listen, etc., etc., and dismissed it. But obviously on the other side of it, as you've said, you picked up new friends who understand it and are similar. So you know, I've done a similar thing myself, really, in that sense. And there is more of us out there than obviously what we knew before diagnosis and what have you. So that is
in fact, I go back to, you know, uni 91 to 94, and I did a degree in Spanish and international marketing. And whilst everybody was really lovely at university, I almost had to drink at the student bar constantly to try and block out the noise, block out the different personalities, block out the smells, all of that business. So I wish I'd known then. And obviously it massively affected dating, which I'm going to talk to you about. So yeah, it's Mel 2.0 now.
Yeah, totally resonate with that. Did you receive any support after your diagnosis? So, for example, you know, from government or just any, so, you know, you got your diagnosis, what happened after that in terms of support from the system or?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Do you know what? No one's ever asked me that question. I've just put no. I went and sought out the PIP, the personal, what's it called, Ben?
Dependence payment, is it?
Payment, that's right. And I didn't really think that I would get anything. And somebody said, oh, why don't you call this number, which I did. And when I walked in, the lady sort of took one look at me and said, how did you get here? And I said, I drove. And she said, well, you're not going to get any money then. So I'm not really sure on what basis that was decided. But anyway, did I get anything from anyone else? No, nothing. But what I do is I am very open about it. And when I phone those call center numbers for utility bills or the government or whoever, which can make me physically sick, really can. In fact, I'm feeling it already now, is I say at the beginning of the call, I am neurodiverse, I have ADHD, I might not understand what you're saying, would you please respect that? And the first time I said it, I cried after I said it. And the lady just said, of course, dear. And she changed the whole way she spoke. So I haven't received support, but I ask for it at the beginning of every one of those calls.
Right, okay. When they changed how they spoke to you, was it in a positive way or in a patronizing way? Was it in a positive way?
Totally positive.
Right, okay. That's
Because
interesting.
I used to be told, well, everybody knows that. Well, I can't be everybody then, can I? Or a bit like in those sort of foreign comedies where I'd ask the question and the man would repeat the answer, but louder.
No, that's interesting. That I've never tried it myself. I don't know if I would or not. I don't know, but yeah, no, that is interesting. It's good though that you've someone understood. Have you had? Was that like a? Have you had many people that have understood in that instance, or?
Well, the mobile phone company I'm with, EE, I'm sure the lady said, right, we are putting you on a different, on a, I don't know how she said it, because it's also sensitive, isn't it, talking about neurodiversities. Yeah. Basically put me on an ND list where they deal with me a bit differently. And as a result, I don't know how it changes, but I don't come off the calls stressed like I used to. I mean, 2 days ago, I phoned the public guardian office because my father is moving over from Spain and I want to have his power, I can't ever remember this word, LPA thing. Mm-hmm. And I was on hold for 2.5 hours. I was number 47 when I called in, and they didn't change the hold music. It wasn't hold music. It was a woman telling you all the things that you could do wrong on the form. Yeah. And I found myself at the end of it, and I haven't decided whether to share it or not yet, but I was a 50-year-old woman weeping at the end, because I just think if you're neurodiverse, companies need to realize we exist. They need to look at the hold music. They need to ask if we want hold music. They need to factor in how long, perhaps, I don't know if we need gold service on waiting. I don't know what, but if we're already on the back foot, irritated, sad, distraught, sensory all over the place, no one's going to get the best conversation, are they?
No, definitely not. I think it's worse for me when you're on hold and you've no idea where you're on the queue and you've no idea how long it's going to take. I mean, because you're not going to sit there with your phone next to your ear. Well, obviously you do sometimes. Yeah. If you knew it was going to be half an hour, then you can just put the phone on the side and go and do something else for half an hour. And then probably forget about it. But anyway,
that's so true. And 2 days ago, because I've got a new phone and I won't read instructions because I've got ADHD, I couldn't work out how to put the phone on loudspeaker, so I had to have the phone near me for 2.5 hours. I swear I thought I was going crazy. I might read the instructions later. No, I won't.
I couldn't do that for a while. I didn't know how to do that with loudspeaker for a while. I think I was that worried about ending the call by accident. Yeah. So, yeah, I've learned to do it. I've been doing it for a few years now. Otherwise, oh God, I won't be able to do that anymore. But yeah, at least I can put it on speaker now. But yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. So do you have any other, however you word it, other conditions, disorders, whatever that you're aware of?
I do. I have, again, wording. I have a real sensory sensitivity. Mm-hmm. Again, it all makes sense now. ADHD goes often very hand in hand with this. I mean, I can remember back to when I was probably 6 years old in a shop called Adams in the Midlands years ago. Mum bought me a fluffy, itchy jumper, and I still remember that I had a total meltdown on the floor, and all she kept saying was, it's just a jumper. It's just a jumper. I can't put new pairs of jeans on. I don't like the sound or the way they feel. I haven't done any of the girly self-care stuff, really, because I can't bear the smell in nail bars. I don't like hairdressers talking blah, blah to me. I mean, but I've masked it all for years, and now I just don't do it. I can't go into cinemas. I can't bear not knowing where all the sound's coming from. I hate shopping. I hate the artificial lighting. And so I'm a bit of a nightmare when it comes probably to taking me on a date. I don't like bowling because I don't like all the sound and artificialness. But the sensory stuff, oh my gosh, I'm so aware of it now. Do you have that, Ben?
Most of that, yeah. I mean, I can do like cinemas. However, I like to know where I'm going to sit. It depends where I sit, can be essential to it. The lights and stuff and sounds, again, what I was saying to you before the call with the masking, it does bother me a lot. But because I masked it for so many years, I've got used to being uncomfortable with it. It still does bother me.
Isn't that sad? I know exactly what you mean. I am comfortable with the discomfort now. Yeah.
I'm thinking what else you said. Oh, hairdressers. See, I had the same hairdresser for about nearly 20 years. So that helped. Otherwise, if you went to new, I mean, to the point, one thing I'm never been good with is knowing like numbers on hair. Like if you say, how do you want your hair cut? I still don't know the numbers now. So I'd just say, oh, same as usual, but can I have it a bit such and such. Whereas if it was a different hairdresser.
So I know exactly what you mean. I'm going to make you laugh now. I still don't know. I'm going to say this because some people need to realise that this is normal. I still don't know what side of your body your heart is on, if it's left or right, because there are some things that I've had to learn parrot fashion because it didn't come into when we were doing all our learning.
Yeah.
So there are things that you just mask and you quickly look it up and then you pretend you're like everyone else. But I know exactly what you mean. I don't get lots of things that people think are normal.
Yeah. I think it is. You see, I don't know. I'd say your left side, but I don't actually know, and I can't feel it sometimes. It's like I forget where it is. So I'm trying to feel for it now. So yeah, I know what you mean with stuff like that. With pulse, I was always. I remembered some at pulses because I've got a vein on my side of my head and I've got a vein on my thing. So I can remember pulses, although it took me a while to. I can't feel it now, but anyway. So yeah, I know what you mean with all that stuff. It's confusing.
Always someone talks about the liver or the kidney or anything. I don't really know which one does which functioning, but I suppose that's because we didn't hyper focus on it because it didn't interest us. Maybe it was too detaily.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because I've always been interested in sport and things like that, and as part of that to learn that, but then a lot of it didn't sink in. Like remembering all the bones, I can remember some of the obscure ones, but not the obvious ones. Like Tib and Fib, I remember them, things like that. But yeah, it's weird. It just like I say, I can retain random stuff. You know, I can remember word for word lines from like a cartoon from the 90s.
Or I can remember where I was when I said something. I say it was when I was under that bridge. I don't know when it was in London. Do you remember? But how are you with the years when people say things like, oh, I was in Greece in 84. Can you do that thing?
I can, yeah. I do it with music a lot. I remember certain songs that come out probably about August 2006 because I was doing X, Y, and Z then.
I've got no idea of any date at all, other than when I was born and 4 years I went to uni. I don't know any other.
Right. I think that's more the autism side of me. I think definitely from speaking to so many people about this sort of thing. I've spoken to quite a few people with ADHD who can't remember any dates or whatever. So I think it is the autism, definitely. Maybe the OCD as well that remembers that.
You can pin it, yeah.
But I can, like I've said it to a few people, I can do this thing where I don't even know how I do it. Like I can do it now. I can go back to certain memory in time right now, which is a random one. And I don't know what takes me there. Like I've took straight back to when I was about 16. I was playing football. I was climbing over the AstroTurf fence, a specific time and who I was with. I can't think how that thought got there from what I've just said then. So yeah, I can go back to certain. A lot of it is not even important things either. It's like just run of the mill, mundane things as well. It's not necessarily big events.
But maybe they weren't big events to neurotypical people, but to us, it created a feeling in us which was just intense. I can remember feelings. You can ask me feelings right back to when I was tiny, and I remember feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go in car washes, and now I finally realise why. It was just all so frightening and loud. I'm going to go in always got a dirty car.
Yeah.
Buy a car wash when I grow up.
Yeah, car wash, that's that. I used to see it as a kid as like an adventure, going in a car wash, like it was like this scary adventure you'd go on. Yeah, God, yeah, I can remember that. Yeah. So, moving on. Unless there's anything you particularly wanted to say on that bit we was on about.
No, that was brilliant. It's brilliant to find out that actually other people feel the same weirdy things that I feel sometimes. My boyfriend calls it my spidiness, that sort of intuition from feeling things that something's gonna happen. I like when I wake up in the morning and I say, oh, it smells like it's sunny. What?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So do you see ADHD as a disability?
No, I see not knowing you have ADHD as a disability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it. Masking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm going to ask this question to obviously every guest, and as I've said a few times, most people say they don't see it as a disability, whether it's autism or ADHD. There's a few that have said that, and I understand reasons why, but I mean, I don't see it as a disability. I just don't for various reasons. So yeah, no, it's interesting asking people that one. So a few random questions.
Go for it.
So what's your favorite color if you have one, and is there any particular reason for that, or is it just that it is?
Green. I find green really calming because it's as far away from anything artificial lit, artificial made up colors. My house is all primary colors, I notice. These pictures behind me I brought back from Vietnam many years ago are probably the most crazy things, but I can cope with them. And if anything in my wardrobe is patterned or sparkly or anything like that, one of my friends has left it over by mistake. Everything is just plain and one color.
Yep, understand that. Do you have any special interests? If so, what would you say they are, if you do?
Yeah, and I'm looking at my list. Obviously, it's the sea, the forest. I moved us in December down to the New Forest. We live in a place called Lymington now. We were living in Essex before. And I grew up around here and I needed to be around the sea again because walking on the beach just takes me back to the most authentic me. It's the reset button, and I need that. And I also love swimming in the sea, cycling, walking, things where I can't mask. There's no masking allowed, although that's caught up with me now and I just don't do it anyway. And also flamenco music. As part of my degree, I lived in Madrid and I discovered flamenco and the just amazing guitars and stuff like that. And do you know what? I was at my height of masking, I would say 19 to 21 when I had to go to Spain. And I didn't mask in Spain because I already had the added advantage of being foreign. And so they couldn't get their head around that. So I thought, well, I might as well just unmask as well. It's all going to be the same bundle. And I'm fluent in Spanish. And I noticed that when I speak Spanish, it's okay to use your arms, to be late, to be loud, to laugh loudly, to be a bit inappropriate sometimes. And then when I came back to England, I had to fit in the box, the mask box. And I discovered flamenco during that time. And there is something called duende, which is a word associated with flamenco, which is just about this animal stirring in your soul. There's not an English translation. And whenever I heard that music in England, I would just weep because it was as if that wasn't coming out. And I've still kept my love of that. And then the other thing is, you know, reading, because fortunately I'm one of the ADHDers that can read prolifically and not get distracted. I mean, I speed read. I could do 2 pages in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I love finding links about neurodiversity and women and their hormones, and how perhaps it would have come out quicker if they'd done more reading about it. And I try and bring that to people on. I've got a 3-minute podcast that I do, Ben. It's called the ADHD Hummingbird. You can get it on Spotify or through my socials. And they're only 3 minutes because I bore myself, or listeners will get bored. But I try and put some little nuggets in there. And, you know, if I think back to when I was a teenager with the hormones and periods and all of that business, that week when you are on your period, your estrogen is at its lowest. Well, your estrogen is what really gets your neurotransmitting feel good, your dopamine going. Mm-hmm. And if I kept a diary of that week where I went, might have made more sense. When I was pregnant, I felt amazing because my estrogen was in full bloom. And then when I hit the menopause in 48, at 46, 47, everything went a bit askew again. And I was only reading the other day that during your menopause, 65% of your estrogen disappears. Well, that's all your dopamine making stuff. So when your fuzzy head and your irritability and your sadness, I urge women, if they've always felt a bit different, to read up on ADHD, because maybe your ADHD is coming out loud, which is what happened with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Makes a lot of sense as well. Obviously, it is different when you're ADHD. Everything's different, even if it's only slightly different. It is, isn't it? So,
and all the tests that were done on autism and ADHD were done on men, on boys, and so we're sort of shouting over here, which in a way gives everyone woman ADHD fatigue now, a bit like, oh, she's just been diagnosed with ADHD, you know, and that gets on my nerves a bit. But
yeah,
they're bound to start coming out the woodwork now because it's being noticed, which is fantastic.
No, absolutely. Like I say, the diagnosis process previously, like I say, it was boys, and then certain types of boys, wasn't it? Usually, one for autism, one for ADHD, and I didn't fit into either of those either. So, yeah.
I'm thinking, do you know what, Ben? It's interesting because in my class at school, and I was really bullied at school. I had my first burnout at 13, actually, on the back of terrible bullying.
Yeah.
I had a boy now, I realised, with ADHD in my school class. He was the naughty boy, didn't really concentrate, brilliant at football. Yeah. Then we had I would say Asperger's. I know we don't say that now, but so high-performing boy who knew all about planets and space, and he was the sort of weirdo, the geek, all those words which now have disappeared, I hope. But yeah. I never met anyone who has both, and you must have a constant battle going on in your head, Ben.
Yeah because
is it neat enough? Is it the right time? Come on, let's do it.
Yeah all that stuff, like, and then I've got the introvert side and the extrovert side. And the introvert, I sort of assign it more to my anxiety or autism, the extrovert more to my ADHD/OCD as well, and then it's like flitting from one to other. So yeah, it is fun. And like I said, I didn't fit into either category because I wasn't naughty at school. Outside of school, I was more lively in that because I like being outside playing football and stuff. So I was more ADHD in some senses then. But I wasn't also a nerd or anything at school. I was sort of, I went in the top sets for some things, but like middle to bottom for others. So it was like, I wasn't the A-star student either or anything like that. So it was, and I always had friends and stuff. So I was seen as normal, but a bit quirky or whatever. That's what I always got.
Did you get invited to parties and stuff at school, Ben?
So it was a bit different parties then. We didn't really do it as much then. I mean, it was, even that was about 50-50. Some I did, and then others, like me and a few mates, got left out. But it wasn't just me on my own. I was like, what's going on here? So it was a bit of a social thing going on there. So even that was a bit mixed, to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, we didn't do it that, we didn't, I mean, most of the time, most of my childhood, it was just playing football, playing out, running around somewhere, like PlayStation that little bit, only a tiny bit, in an evening or whatever, or like wrestling, or we'd be wrestling on field or something daft like that, and getting into trouble occasionally with things, only occasionally. Like there was some barren land near us, and we were like climbing. There was this abandoned house, so we were like messing about in there, and there was this massive digger. We were climbing up that and stuff, and got into trouble for that and stuff like that. But and then there was a farmer's field near us where the farmer shot at us once, like as a warning thing, because we were messing about in there. So yeah, it was. I mean, I love my childhood, to be fair. Not so much the school part, but the outside of school part, I enjoyed more.
I think mine was sort of the out of probably up to 11. I was really happy probably up to about 11, and then we moved and I started secondary school in the second year, so everyone had kind of got the click of the first year and the primary school, etc. But I was invited to parties, but when it came to the day, I would have overwhelm and I wouldn't be able to go. On the bus, you know, going on a trip, Mum would have to keep rescuing me off the bus. I never went on any trips, and we never understood what it was. And she used to say, "Oh, you'd get really excited." I think it was overwhelm, sensory overwhelm of sitting on that bus with the crisp packets and the noise and not knowing who's going to whack your head and the smell. And now I get it.
I was fortunate. I never went on buses because both my schools were within walking distance, so I never had any of that. And I went home at dinner at secondary school, so I didn't have all the social stuff at dinner time. So I'd made my own. I didn't know at the time, but I'd sort of made my own system as such to cope.
You had a safe system, yeah.
So yeah. So next or last random question, maybe. If you could meet any celebrity or famous person from the past, who would it be and why? I will just say, I've said this for the last few podcasts now, I keep forgetting to update that question because I believe it may have just said, if you could meet any celebrity and not the from the past bit.
Okay.
Keep forgetting to update it.
Can I answer both?
Yeah.
So from now, a celebrity, I don't do celebrities, and I'm not interested at all in that, but I will use it in terms of a person that we know of who's famous. I'd say that if I could have a chat with Gabor Mate, if that's how you pronounce him, Scattered Minds, best book I've ever read for ADHD, ever. And Eckhart Tolle, who obviously wrote The Power of Now, which I realised that, I would say since realising that book, that I realised that ADHD was always pushing me away from now, because I never wanted to sit because it was difficult. And actually, since reading his book, Dropping Egos, being aware of egos, really, is this a fight that's going on or a triangle about something else? And all of that coaching training has been so helpful as well. And in terms of from the past, probably not anybody famous, but I would be really curious to meet some great grandparents, and particularly one of those who might have a neurodiversity link to my ADHD, and to just see as a fly on the wall how they dealt with ADHD in like 1747, you know, whether they had these amazing outfits on with like bits of coffee spilt down there, or like, you know, if they had big clumps of hair because they hadn't fancied brushing their hair for a few days because they couldn't find their brush, you know. How did they mask back then?
Yeah. No, I've not had anyone say that particular answer, that latter one, and I think that's quite interesting. I mean, I'd love to to go back, well, see all family members throughout history. I'd love to do that, but yeah, obviously the neurodivergence side of it, yeah, that'd be interesting.
Have you traced yours back through your parents and grandparents, Ben?
That's one of those things that's on in my mental list in my head that hasn't been ticked off yet.
Is it not obvious?
Sorry, I've people like
Your
I know.
own parents
Oh
and
yeah,
grandparents.
I've done all that. Yeah, people I know. Yeah, I've done all that. With like grandparents, parents, siblings and stuff like that. I've gone through all that in my head and talked about it. So I thought
It's
you
mad,
meant,
isn't it? When you think, God, yeah, they did do that quite a lot.
well, yeah, I think my nonna had anxiety, and then I don't think she's autistic. I'd have to. I see it because she talked about. She told me before she died about anxiety in some forms. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I've looked into that. I'd love to have known, like, going back even further in time, you know, what they were like as well. So there's a few things I could sort of say, but is there anything you want to sort of dive into?
No, you start, Ben. Go for it.
So obviously you've mentioned a few things already. I kind of want to ask you about Madrid, but that's just a personal thing and not really to do with neurodiversity, so I'll leave that.
Go on.
Well, I don't know, just because I love Spain. Really. I mean, I've been to Madrid. I went a couple of years ago. But I suppose, yeah, just how you found that whole experience, really. But I don't want to drift off too much and get obsessed.
It was, all I can say is it was amazing, and it was, as I said to you, it was the most authentic I have ever been, and I think it will always hold a real, and it's a bit naff, a real special place in my heart, because I didn't know that feeling I got when I was speaking Spanish was the unmasked, authentic Mel. I just thought it was just because it was sunny and there was sangria and things. That's what Spain did for me.
Yeah. And sort of switching over again, but just in terms of your background, so like you've mentioned being an entrepreneur, which is something I'm very interested in, and the ADHD entrepreneur side of it, definitely. So do you want to just tell us about, you know, what you've done in the past or what you're doing in terms of you know, businesses or...
Yeah, of course. So I came back from Spain, and I'd also picked up German, so I'm fluent in Spanish and German, and sort of can get by in French, but I wouldn't say I'm fluent, you know, the school French.
Mm-hmm.
And went knocking on doors in London and said, you know, I'm trilingual, I've got a marketing degree, etc. And they went, you and everyone else. So I ended up getting a temping job at Warner Brothers, working in marketing there. And I was so confident and extrovert, which actually isn't masking, this is me, that they pushed me into being one of the dolly girls that had to introduce DVDs, the release of DVDs to all of the big blockbusters and the vid biz. And that was, again, easy. I don't mind who I talk to. I really don't. And then, and yet I wasn't able to apply to the marketing department. I was kept in the sales because I think the ADHD personality is a bit too, you know, forceful and chatty, and they wanted the skills, you know, for the sales team. So that was great. Eventually I became bored of that, and then knocked on an ad agency's door and said, I think I could make you some money. They said, no, you can't. I said, give me a month. I made them money. I then got headhunted to a very large group of ad agencies and set up new business revenue streams. And for example, the way that you make money in an ad agency is you are paid a commission by the media, so that you represent the media on their behalf. And I just kept thinking, why don't we design a little calculation on the screen which makes us the most amount of money per deal? And I think I took the margin up from 8% up to 14% within the year, just from this thing. And so I realized that I could see things and patterns that other people can't really see. And then I burnt out, did too much. So I went and escaped, and I lived in Southeast Asia on my own for a couple of years, decided entrepreneurially that I was going to be an art dealer, and brought back 34 of these paintings from Vietnam. Then got headhunted to run another agency, was given a Porsche as my company car, couldn't get any of the paintings in the boot, have loads of paintings left. Then bought out an ad agency that did really, really well. And then I had a little girl, and realized that I couldn't combine ad agency life, which was very masked, good Lord, drinky all the time, not authentic, because actually all the media want is for you to buy into their mag, buy into their paper. So that irked me a bit. Not saying anything anti-media, but that whole setup irked me. And then I thought, right, what am I going to do with the little baby? And so I went and approached a farmer for a 2,500 square foot wooden barn, and turned it into still had some marketing retaining clients, turned it into a great big play and restaurant facility, which Wi-Fi. It was all about attachment theory, so parents would play with their children more. And I would just walk around like the maitre d' talking to everyone. And then COVID hit, had to make 8 members of staff redundant, and realized I was drinking too much white wine. So I decided to launch an alcohol brand, which was called Moose. Approached gin distillers, said, could you create with me a gin that's 12% rather than 37%? Gave him the flavors, launched that. That was a success. I then sold that business. And then for the last year, have been thinking seriously about coaching. But do you know what always stopped me coaching? Was I thought that you had to be an expert in the field of what you were coaching.
When you say, do you mean
coaching on I don't know, relationships? How on earth could I coach relationships when I've masked for 50 years of my life? No, 48 years of my life. And the more I've learned is it's better off that I don't know any of the information, and that I just ask the right questions, because they have all the answers, not me. And I wish I learned how to be a coach years ago. And the other day, during one of our training sessions, we had to do values, and we looked at John DeMartini and wrote them down. And I cried in the training session, because I realized that I could answer the values whilst masking, and I could answer the values now, and they were so different. It was unbelievable. All of that fantastic money that I earned during ad agency days was coupled with having to drink to be able to be in an office with fluorescent lights, where no one booked appointments, where people walked over, with the noise, with the lights. Oh my gosh. And I never realized any of that. And what came up quite high in my values is I like uncertainty. I really do. So there was me trying to do jobs where they wanted forecasting on a Monday and this on a da-da-da day when I was commercial director, and it's not me.
Yeah.
So now I am hoping to specialize in masking and helping individuals take off that mask, albeit neurodiverse masks, or women who are going back to work after maternity leave, who sort of think that career suits them still, but they've got a feeling inside, they don't know what it is. Well, let's find out if that career suits you still. And that's my work. That's my work history.
No, that's very, very, I don't want to say interesting, because I'm sick of using that word. I've said it about 6 times already, but it's fascinating, should I say, because well, that shows ADHD in many ways, how you've moved from one thing to another, but you've managed to excel even with having to mask and do things you don't want to do, but you've you've managed to have that drive and ambition, etc., to do that. We've
and
also,
do you know what? Thank you for saying that, because I get quite teary about all of this, in that all that while that you've beaten yourself up for not being able to follow instructions, be on time, you know, do your admin, etc., etc. But having come out okay, and my friends go, no, not okay, really, really well, is it's all very well and good thinking, what would it have been like if I had known, or if I didn't have ADHD? But the point is, it's really important to the whole self-love thing, to realize you were amazing anyway.
yeah,
Because grief is a big thing when you're diagnosed. It really is. And, you know, it's certainly the feeling I had in me when I carried out the values exercise a couple of weeks ago. But it was what it was, wasn't it? And the more we can do things like this together, the more people might look into why they feel a bit different.
mm-hmm. No, I agree, definitely. Yeah, no, it is fascinating to hear all that, and obviously how you've then realised that even though you're making loads of money, if you're not happy entirely, then it's not worth, you know, risking your health, your long-term health, etc. And obviously, the older you get, as I found, the less, you know, if you keep abusing yourself or letting environments abuse you, whatever, then you can't go on forever. You've got to then adapt and find ways to cope, and stuff. I mean, I went, just on a tangent, I went gluten-free and lactose-free a year and a half ago, purely because I was having stomach problems. And whilst I believe it is down to that as well, the whole stress and anxiety side that my body's taken over the years as well has gradually caught up with me. Because when I was in my 20s, I was okay in that sense. I still had anxiety and stress on different levels. But yeah, the more you keep adding that extra stress on top of it, it's going to catch up. So you've got to adapt and find your own way.
Have you heard about this? So I'm just waving to my daughter coming back from school. Have you heard about the autistic stomach?
Yeah, I've looked into that. Well, autism and ADHD, as well. Yeah, and how it's all linked together. Yeah.
And what are you like, Ben, on different color foods and textures and so on? How are you?
So for years I lived on, oh, my friends used to laugh at this, baked beans and mashed potatoes. I used to have that every dinner for years. And I had the same foods every day. In terms of textures and that, I mean, I don't like anything spicy. I know it's not textures, but I don't like anything spicy. I can't have anything spicy. I don't like the smells, and I can't stomach it anyway. It is a bit of a weird one, because when it comes to, I mean, I don't have sweets much now, but when I did, I liked depending on what colour they were. So if it was like a blue, purple, pink or something, I'd like it more than like a yellow than like an orange or something. So
I
that's
thought everyone was like that. I do that. I don't want the yellows or the oranges. I want the green and the purples.
That's what I mean. So with that, there was that side of it. In terms of food and textures, I definitely did show autistic traits in a lot of it. I mean, even now I have the same dinner pretty much every day. Part of that is because of the whole gluten thing. But even so, I tended to have the same food most of the time. So I don't like things where you have to chomp them, we have to chew them for ages either. I don't like that. Anything that takes you ages to cut it up as well, I don't like. But yeah, textures, I'd have to rethink about it, because I've gone through so many different things with all that I forgot where I am with it in some senses.
I just want to say this, that last week I watched Christine McGuinness's second program about her masking in autism.
Yeah.
She's always been on a beige diet. She said that's all she eats. And she spoke to this amazing woman at the hospital that's linked with King's College, etc., about anorexia. And they did a test across all the anorexic girls there. And I think they only have girls. I don't know, I might be wrong on that. But a third of all of them had very strong autistic traits that nobody had realised before. And the point is that, you know, if you're trying to get these girls to re-eat again and their diet is so restricted because of the textures and the colours, etc., if you don't realise there might be autism present and you're giving them broccoli, come on, that'll keep you healthy and slim and all of that, and they don't only eat beige, I'm going to read up on that because I find that really quite interesting.
Yeah, I did watch that program as well. Yeah, I did. It was interesting, that particular bit he was on about. Yeah. Yeah, again, more awareness. People need to be talking about it, and because a lot, you know, I didn't know about the whole stomach and food for most of my life, so a lot of other people won't either.
No.
So there's a couple of things you've mentioned that I think we'll go through. Well, it's up to this next, but I know you've mentioned it. So the whole drinking thing, I know you've touched on that a few times. Did you want to just you don't have to, but
I'd like to touch on drinking and dating, which unfortunately are a bit interwoven. I think I had my first drink when I went to live, I'd say in Madrid, really, and university time. And I just noticed that it took the edge off this sort of busyness that goes on with your ADHD, and you're not so aware of being a bit of an odd fit if you drink and you mix in. And I did some crazy things. I fell down the whole flight of stairs at Liverpool Street Station, down 2 flights of stairs after a boozy business lunch, typical advertising lunch. I've got trains and ended up in completely wrong destinations. I've woken up lying on a broken mirror, stupid things. And now I would say I could only see myself getting tipsy at a dinner party or in a restaurant where you're enjoying the food and the drink, but being drunk doesn't interest me anymore. And I think that was all part of, since I don't mask, I don't need to be drinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, when I drink, it's when you've had so many, like sometimes going to a bit relaxed mentally, where, like you say, I'm still aware things are going off around me, but I'm shutting out the noises slightly. But then I can't really hear what other people are saying around me then, and I just go dreamland.
I know. And I also, I have terrible hearing anyway, I think. And I can't bear being in a social situation where everyone's going like this.
Yeah.
I can't bear not knowing what they're saying. And then on the other side of the coin, Ben, you've got when you go out and you can hear everyone's conversation and feel everyone's energy in the room, and you don't want to hear what they're saying. That is a bit of a bugger with the ADHD.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, on the first example you gave, I usually just nod and smile, and I sort of, again with the mask, and I've sort of guessed what is the appropriate response to give based on how they are with me. I sort of like might smile a bit, or if they're looking a bit more like serious, I'll look a bit more. Yeah.
Oh my God, what were we doing? What were we doing? And the dating, I mean, obviously, you know, a couple of those in the bar, etc., or a couple of those on the dating apps leads to, you know, oh, what a car crash. Basically, because I was masking all the time, I needed to have a safe moat around me. So that person would never twig my dirty little secret, which I didn't know what it was, but I didn't have the wardrobe they thought that I had, because actually there was a safety pin under the hem that they hadn't seen, or I'd had to get a bit of a stain off a white top before I'd gone out. So there was all of that, the imagery that was just all tricks and masking.
Yeah.
And so the kind of men that worked were probably unavailable people. I don't mean married as well. I mean, emotionally unavailable, because then they wouldn't even be bothered about me that much. So I was able to just mask and pull it off really well. They're the ones that were just adorers, who would, even if I cocked up and arrived with a ladder up my tights, just still thought I was gorgeous anyway. And that was a little bit of, you know, helping my self-esteem with the ADHD. And actually, I unmasked, big reveal. And I found a lovely chap over the last few months. And one thing that I also realized let me down with dating was, as well as the masking, was the whole business of rejection, sensitivity dysphoria.
Mm-hmm.
And when they liked me and I said to them, well, I didn't say it, I carried on for years and years and years, wasted years in stupid relationships because I didn't want them to be disappointed in me, because that feeling, for all of these listeners who don't know what that is like having your arm chopped off because you feel you've disappointed that person so much. And that is the people-pleasing bit in us as well, where we say yes, 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 overextend and then don't want to go. And I don't do any of that anymore. And I wrote what I wanted on my dating profile, and I wrote it as Mel. I didn't write it as masked Mel, and things seem to have taken a really good turn.
Yeah, I mean that's good to hear you've come to that where you are now. I totally understand all that. Yeah, I mean it's interesting hearing it from a female as well. Obviously, different.
Have you done it all, Ben?
Kind of. Well, not exactly like that, but yeah, I mean, I've got rejection sensitivity dysphoria as well, which manifests in different ways, I guess, as well. It's just such a minefield, the whole thing. And I mean, I was in relationships for years where I shouldn't have been, and again, I didn't want to. Yeah,
let them down, make them unhappy.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And yeah, I don't know. I just find the whole thing bizarre, really. Now, the whole what's the word, landscape of it all. I think it has changed over the years as well. How obviously the online thing added a different dimension to it all. But yeah, I mean, I remember at school someone liked. I'm trying to think now, going back. There's been times where people have liked me and I've not realised it then, and then I realised it later, like years later. Oh, you know, they actually like me, sort of thing. And yeah, it's I don't know what to say about it all. It's just, I find it all strange, to be honest.
It's strange, and also not really sure where you're supposed to go, because, you know, if you've got sensory stuff, if you've got autism as well, all of that business, it's just go and do something that you would have had fun doing on your own anyway. I heard someone say that the other day, because if it ends up going tits up, you've had a really nice time. Because imagine, which I have, booking a dinner with somebody and knowing within 2 minutes, because you do, that the energy's wrong, and you've still got to go through an hour and a half of just it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. One thing I've found as well, I think over the years, I think a lot of people are quite boring as well. A lot of people yeah. And I mean, just some of the stuff I've done in the past where I'm like, why did I put up with all that? I don't know, just stuff to watch on TV as well. And just routines people have where, you know, you go to the stereotype, you go to work 9 to 5, you get home, you have your tea, you watch a bit of TV. That's about it, really. A lot of people live that way. Well, most people live that way, don't they? Obviously, work different hours and whatever, but I don't know, just find it all boring. Like,
we do the food shop on a Thursday, we go to the cinema on a Saturday. I remember thinking many times, if this is it, it's not enough. This is not enough. But it was all external, and actually I needed to get this right inside to invite the right.
Yeah.
And searching when you feel a little bit needy on an online scrolly thing is the same as going into Tesco's when you're starving. You just pick quick fixes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and try and find out who you are yourself, because how can you write a shopping list when you don't open your cupboards or see what's needed?
Yeah, I agree. So, is there anything in particular you wanted to bring up other than what we?
I would like to bring up that until my diagnosis and until I moved here, which was in December last year, I was living, but I don't think I felt alive.
Mm-hmm.
I was on 50 milligrams of sertraline.
Wow.
Because I'd been on that since for about 4 years, because I didn't know what this feeling was. I felt anxious, a bit weird, and I have since come off that, and I'm not on anything anymore. And I just realized that actually this is life. Bloody hell, this is life. And actually, I reckon I'm 9 or 10 out of 10 happy every day. And that's not big things going on. That's just the big question mark has gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad you feel that way now. And you've figured it out, and what's best for you, what your needs are, and what you're not going to tolerate as well. I think, you know, things you're not going to tolerate, people you're not going to tolerate, I think is very important.
No. And I do wonder if, you know, because probably you're the same, I notice so many neurodivergents around me, and you know, you can't go over and go, you're a bit ADHD, you're a bit autistic. You're not allowed to do that. But I do wonder if in 50 years' time, the rare person will be the neurotypical person, and you and I will have got it right.
Yeah, no, I've thought about stuff like that. Yeah, I think we're a long way off people accepting it all. I think there's been massive strides made in the last couple of years alone.
But at least you're male, Ben. At least you're male. You're taken more seriously than us.
Well, yeah, I would say that.
With the testing, I mean, not just a gender.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh,
You've had all the tests based on men.
yeah, yeah. Oh no, we're testing definitely. Yeah, but even when I go from ADHD diagnosis, I believe I've got to highlight a bit more, like show what's in my head more than what's physically being presented, I think. Yeah, it depends who I get, who does it, I guess. But yeah, forgot what I was going to say now.
I don't know, but I want to say something you said earlier was when I said that I announced that I'm neurodiverse on phone calls, is, you know, I would really like you to take away from this call, maybe it's worth doing that sometimes yourself. Yeah. Because God, it's helped me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I will pick and choose when I do it, but yeah, that is something I may do. Yeah, I mean, when I go out in public and stuff, occasionally I'll drop in, I've got ADHD or whatever. I'll assess the situation and figure out, do I think these people are going to have a clue what I'm on about, and how are they going to respond to that? I mean, when I was in a previous job before I worked for myself, that was when I found out I was autistic and stuff. Got the diagnosis. I didn't tell them until I'd got the diagnosis because I knew they wouldn't believe me. I'd already figured that one out. Then when I told him, I thought, well, I've got it now. I've got it on paper, blah, blah, blah. I then got treated differently in a patronising way with some people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, but then I turned it around into a funny thing, because my friends I worked with did accept it. They didn't fully understand it, but they accepted it. And then we just have a laugh, because then I'll play on the fact that I'm now a bit simple, or whatever you want to say, how they were sort of treating me. So then I'd play up to it a bit then. I thought, well, rather than get angry about it, I just took mick out of it a bit, to be honest. I got more leeway with stuff. So like, well, Yeah, it was just funny. But
Or if someone's in or if I go into a restaurant, they put me right near to the speakers. And I really could live without music. I really could. I thought about that before we talked, because the repetition of the words annoy me. The fact that I know whether a chorus or a verse is coming before anyone else. Christmas music, there's something in Christmas music I cannot even bear it. It's the
Christmas music.
plunkness, can't bear it. All the Christmas, all the oh my God, the routine of it all. But the point where I was going was, I ask people to turn down music now, and my other half, if I just for a moment might do a look away, he knows that there's a light or a music or a something. And it's so amazing to be neurodiversely respected in a couple. God, it's lovely.
Yeah, that see with that with music, I'm a bit different too. I either have it really, really loud, or if it's a song I can't stand, I cannot be near it. So I hate George Ezra for some reason. I just don't like his music.
I've simply read. I just have to leave.
Yeah, but that was stuff I struggled with in relationships in the past. When George, I was like, I can't have this on. I cannot be. And they'd be like, oh, what's up with you? I'd be like, no, I really can't. Christmas music. This is what I was saying earlier about, being boring and all that sort of. I can't. I hate whenever it gets to bloody November. I get anxiety because I know if I go out anywhere, Christmas music will be on.
My God, so do I. People think I'm weird, and I say I need to. Like, we were waiting, when all the airports had strikes for the luggagey people, security people. So we went to Italy in December. I was in Stansted waiting the bit before, after you've gone in, for 3 hours with Christmas music on. And I've bought some of those loop earplugs now, which gave me an ear infection. So I don't know what I'm going to do about them because of the material and the sensitivity. But my friend was laughing at me and going, what do you mean you don't like this music? I said, you wait and see what I'm like in an hour. In an hour, I nearly punched people.
Yeah, it's horrible. The Noddy Holder one, or whatever his name is, Holder. That one. That's the one that does me.
It could be Christmas every day. That one.
Yeah. I hate that. That's the one that does me heading, because everyone automatically goes really cheery and it just winds me up. Just really winds
every radio station, every TV program. It's like being stuck in a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? Oh, good. Everyone else calls me what do they say when someone doesn't like Christmas?
Oh, Grinch and all that.
Yeah, that thing. But obviously we both
I can't think of the one. What's it called now? Scrooge, in it. That's one. Scrooge. That's one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. See, the way I've adapted with that one is I just do. I hate the fact that all the high street stores, well, not all of them, but a lot of them are closing because I just don't like that. But I do online shopping for Christmas now just because I can't bear being in the shops. So that's how I get around it. I'm not
on the 23rd with Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, snap.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. So, yeah, unless anything you want to bring up, which you can do, last question for me would be, is there any sort of particular aims or goals that you have in life, really, or with the neurodiversity sort of side of it? You may not have thought about it. If you have, great. If you haven't.
I tell you what isn't an aim anymore is to try and do those things which really make me uncomfortable, and I just thought I needed to get better at them and deal with them. I just don't do them anymore. I don't like DIY. I don't like baking. I can't follow instructions. I'm a mean cook, but I can't bake. Too detailed. And I hope that by being such a loud advocate for someone with ADHD, that I might change a few people's lives and them think I'm going to go and investigate it. Because to be honest, if I hadn't read what I read, and I followed an account by Pink Bear, a lady called Louise, which was just phenomenal who just had a diagnosis. And if it wasn't for things like that, I wouldn't have gone and done it. So spreading the word and to just be kinder to myself. And I think that the training of being a coach is all about being kind to myself, because I keep offering myself opportunities to learn. So I'm really pleased the way that the course with Optimus is going. Yeah.
That's good to hear. So is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
Please have a look at my podcast, Beg. It's called The ADHD Hummingbird. I cover drinking, dating, sounds. I cover sex and foreplay, so that you're not thinking about what you need to defrost from the freezer at the same time as trying to have a nice time. Clothes, self-care, all of that business. We might have a bit of body dysmorphia that's going to come up as well. So please listen to this. And if you want to join the neurodiverse gang, we'd love to hear from you. But I've really enjoyed that, Ben. Thank you. No
problem. It's been good to have you on. And I think it will be a great listen when people listen to podcasts as well. So yeah, definitely. And this is why I like doing it, because not every podcast is different, because obviously I might get people with ADHD on, but then they're going to have different interests, different experiences, whatever, all within the same general theme to a degree, but then it goes off on different tangents. So that's why I like doing it. So yeah. No, it's been really lovely. And just to point out that your blinds behind you, the equal width between each of them aren't the same, and one of them's quite wide. That what I could say. Yeah, it does my head in. But if I went and messed with it now, I'd end up making it worse, which would be no need. You've done it for ages. Yeah. Oh yeah, it does my head in. I can never do black. Once I mess about with him, I can't undo it then. So I just leave it. And we go down a rabbit hole, don't we? We do. Exactly. All right. Thank you, Ben. Right. Cheers, Mel. Appreciate you being on. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll speak to you soon.